From the News Channel 5 Network, this is SportsLine.
Hey, good evening, Nashville. Welcome to SportsLine on this Wednesday night here on News Channel 5 Plus. Glad you are with us. John Burton here with you. Your phone calls, as always, welcome 737-7767. Got a lot to get to tonight. We're going to talk some Titans, but we're also going to talk a lot of Preds as they've reached the halfway point of their season. And right now they're on the outside looking in at a playoff spot. We're going to talk both Titans and Predators with our buddy John Glennon, our insider, coming up in the next segment at about 8:15. John Glennon, of course, formerly of the Tennessean, beat writer for both the Preds and Titans. Nobody knows both teams better than our buddy John Glennon, so he will join us in about 15 minutes, give or take. So we look forward to having John on. John also contributing to our digital content as well at times here at News Channel 5 Plus. So a guy you definitely want to hear from when you want to know the skinny, if you will, with the Titans and the Predators. So we'll get into that with John coming up. Also, some leftover Titans exit interviews from last week. We may get to those as well. Anything on your mind regarding the Titans? And we can look ahead to the draft if you like. What position, what player do you like for the Tennessee Titans? I mean, we've only got 4 months to break this down, so we might as well start now. 737-7767. Don't forget, you can tweet me at NC5_John Burton. I will read your tweets on the air. Let me know who you are and where you're from. We will get your tweets coming up in the show as well. Meantime, this is our first show of the week, so I have to start with what happened on Monday night in Tampa, Florida, national championship game. And all I can say, folks, is roll, tears, roll. That's right, Clemson beating Alabama for the national championship on a last-second touchdown pass to win the championship, their first championship since 1981, when Homer Jordan was their starting quarterback and Danny Ford was their head coach. So for Alabama fans, all I can say is I'm wide open for excuses. Bring them in, 737-7767. Is it Bo Scarborough getting hurt? Is it Jalen Hurts, the true freshman quarterback, not playing well, even though he scored the go-ahead touchdown with 2 minutes left? Is it the pick play on the final touchdown pass from to win the game? So for all the Alabama fans out there, I am ready for excuses. And it's funny because you hear so many Alabama fans say this is the most devastating loss for Alabama. Well, let's take a look at it. You've won 4 out of the last 8 national championships. You got back to the championship game. You were undefeated going into this game. And this is the most devastating loss after winning 4 of the last 8 national championships. See, here's the problem. The reason why it's so devastating is because Alabama fan runs his yap for 12 months, and all of a sudden he's got nothing to yap about right now. So the Clemson Tigers are your national champions. Any reaction to that game is fair game. 737-7767 is the number to call. If you're disappointed as an Alabama fan, what do you think went wrong in this game? We can get into that. If you're happy that Clemson won, if you're happy that Alabama didn't win, we welcome your calls as well. 737-7767. Tweet me at NC5_John Burton. Again, we will get to some Preds talk coming up a little bit in the show. They're coming off a 2-1 overtime win at home over Vancouver last night. The Preds host the Boston Bruins tomorrow night. And again, John Glennon will break everything down for us coming up next segment. College basketball, one score to pass along to you. It was South Carolina beating UT 70-60 in the Thompson Bowling Arena. That game ending about 20 minutes ago. So the Vols now dropped to 8-8 overall in the season, 1-3 in the SEC. So a slow start to the SEC portion of their schedule for Rick Barnes' Vols. So if you want to talk a little SEC hoops, a little Big Orange hoops. Meanwhile, Vanderbilt last night, a representative effort at home against number 6 Kentucky, losing 87-81. It looks like Bryce Drew has the Commodores playing some good ball. Tough sledding anytime you take on the Kentucky Wildcats, whether you're home or away. But again, a very representative game for the Vanderbilt Commodores as they lose to Kentucky. So all that's on the table. We're going to hit our first phone call tonight. We got Lewis on line 1. Hey, Lewis. Oh, I'm sorry, Jimmy on line 1. Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, how you doing this evening?
Good, man. What's happening?
Not a whole lot. I was going to comment on the Alabama-Clemson game. I was really impressed by the way both teams played, and
it was a great game. It was an instant classic. Just Steve Lehman and I were talking about this in the office earlier today. We didn't think anything could top last year's game, but I think this game topped it, and in a big way. Yeah,
it really did. And I'm a UT, I'm a SEC fan. I have to be honest, but I'm glad to see somebody else win. Clemson deserves it. I mean, look at the 2 or 3 years they've had. Look at the couple years the quarterbacks had. I mean, it was just a really good game. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better game if you planned it out,
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I'm really happy for Clemson because, again, I was one of the few people that was around back when they won their last national championship in 1981. I remember Homer Jordan. I remember Danny Ford. I remember that great team that they had. And also for a guy like Deshaun Watson to come back a year later to get his team back in the championship game against Alabama, and with the game on the line, the season on the line, the national championship on the line, to be able to go down the field. And I was pretty confident that they could go down and get a field goal. I didn't think they would be able to get a touchdown, but to get a touchdown, to win it basically on the last play of the game, there's just 1 second left. That's a great story. Whether you're an Alabama fan or not, or you're indifferent towards it, the Clemson side of it's a huge story.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think both teams played their heart out. Like I said, it was a really good game. And that's pretty much all I got. I appreciate y'all taking my call this evening.
Absolutely. We appreciate you calling. Thanks so much. And call back whenever you like. Let's check in with Jay on line 2. Jay, good evening. You're on SportsLine.
Good evening and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. What's going on tonight?
Nothing much. Hey, that Clemson Alabama game, I congratulate Dabo Swinney. What a great job he's done. And I just wonder what you thought about that Williams, that receiver. He is a beast.
You know what? You're the first of many people that are going to call about Mike Williams in the coming months ahead. And with the Titans sitting there at number 5, that would be a pretty good pick, wouldn't it? A big, tall, fast wide receiver. You see the way he can go up and attack the football when it's in the air. He fights for it. When that ball's in the air, here's what I like about Williams. When that ball's in the air, his mentality is, that's my ball. You can go for it all you want, but that's my ball. And what an addition he could be to the Titans' offense as a stretch the field kind of guy. And now all of a sudden, when you're game planning, you got to bring those safeties back a little bit. And now you got Murray and Henry in the backfield running the rock with that offensive line. He could be a nice fit for the Titans' offense, don't you think?
Absolutely. Like I said, he's so aggressive. I mean, he would be so hard. And he's hard to bring down, too. Mm-hmm. And also, I just wondered what you thought about Vanderbilt last night. And I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, you know what? I kind of touched on this in the beginning of the show. I'm kind of all over the place here in the opening segment. But, yeah, Vanderbilt's playing good ball right now. I think Bryce Drew has these guys believing. And, again, a very representative effort last night against Kentucky. Kentucky never ran away and hid in this game. The Commodores did a nice job of keeping it close. They hit some big shots. They kept pace with Kentucky for the most part. But Kentucky is Kentucky. You got, future NBA guys running up and down the court against, Riley LeChance and Luke Cornett. And it's no disrespect to those guys. Those guys are fine players. But, you have to have athletes to run with Kentucky. And, they're just too athletic right now. But, again, a very representative effort by Vanderbilt. And Bryce Drew said as much afterwards. We may hear from him later this hour. Bryce Drew saying as much how proud he was of his team for hanging in there. And so I think under Bryce Drew, I think Vanderbilt is the arrow's pointing up. And by the way, speaking of Vanderbilt, talking a little football for a second, some rumors started swirling around. There was a report that Derek Mason, the head football coach at Vanderbilt, was linked to the Cal job opening. Coach Mason sending out a tweet today that he is committed to staying at Vanderbilt and he's not going anywhere. So just wanted to pass that along in case anybody missed out on that. But yeah, the basketball team doing a great job. We're going to talk to Adam Sparks from the Tennessean in the coming weeks to kind of get a real feel for what's going on with Bryce Drew and the Vanderbilt basketball team. Women's team, by the way, doing pretty well too under Stephanie White. They've had some representative efforts as well. So things looking up for the Vanderbilt men's and women's basketball programs, it would appear. And before you know it, it'll be time for Vanderbilt baseball, and Coach Tim Corbin will have his boys back out on the baseball diamond, so we look forward to that. Again, John Glennon's going to join us in the next segment. We're going to talk Titans and Predators. Your thoughts on either are welcome. 737-7767. You can tweet me at NC5_John Burton as well. Right now, we want to get to just a little bit of the Carl Edwards press conference. Carl Edwards abruptly retiring from Sprint Cup racing just a couple of days ago. He finally spoke publicly for the first time about his decision to leave the Sprint Cup circuit. Here's a little bit of what Carl Edwards had to say.
So I'm stepping away from full-time driving in the Cup Series, and I'm not taking any questions, so thanks for coming. Just joking. I think I owe it to you guys, and I'd like to share my reasoning and then allow you guys to ask some questions and talk about this. But before I get to my reasons, I'd like to just talk a little bit about my career and things that are important to me. And when you're done, Bob, I'll be. And I want to say, first of all, this is about the most scared I've ever been about something, just talking about this and going through this whole process, so bear with me on that. But I've been racing for over 20 years. It's been something that I wouldn't trade for anything. I have no regrets. It's been a blast, and I owe thanks to a lot of people, my family, my mom, my dad, and all the people who have become like family through racing, from Capitol Speedway in Holt Summit, Missouri, all the way to Daytona, and Mike Helton and Lisa and Brian France and everybody at the top of the sport. And I've had so much fun meeting everyone. Had so much fun driving. I mean, guys, there's nothing I love more than driving down a corner at 190 miles an hour sideways next to the best people in the world, the best drivers in the world. And so, yeah, my competitors. You guys are amazing. You can be jerks sometimes, but let's be honest, I can be a jerk too. So, but what you've done for me, my competitors, all of you, is you've pushed me, and you've made when you win one of these races or you do well, you know that you have beaten the best, and it feels almost impossible in the process. But then when you're done, it's the most amazing feeling ever, and that's because of how good all of you guys are. And so thanks for letting me be a part of that group. To all my crew members and team members and people who built these cars and worked on all of these things, and Jason Hedleski, my spotter, and Randy Fuller, and Dave Rogers, who's become one of my best friends, and the team owners I've driven for, Mike Mittler, Jack Roush, Coach Gibbs. There are no better men on earth, and I'm glad to have been around them and to see how they do things and to have been a part of that. And without racing, I wouldn't have been able to do any of that. So the fans have been spectacular. Jack Roush said, we could all go do all this and race around in a field with nobody watching, but that wouldn't be any fun. I mean, the fans are what make this great. My buddy, the late, great Bob Healy, used to say the world's all screwed up because all the people that are qualified to fix it are busy messing with cars. And I think that sums it up. There's some really great people in the sport. So, and the media, thank you guys. I know when I first came in the sport, all you did was write nice things about me, and I thought that's how it was always going to be, and I really appreciate it, and I thank you. But then we went through some down times, and now we're good again. So if any of you are planning on writing bad stuff, you don't get the free Subway on the way out. So just let that be known. So we get to the reasons. Why would I step away from all of that? And the reasons are pretty straightforward, and there are three of them. Number one, I'm personally satisfied with my career. And I know right now you're thinking, you don't have a championship. Well, I mean, Jimmy's got some extras if he wants to send one my way, but truly, I mean, you guys know that I don't race just for the trophies. This has always been this has been a neat journey for me, and it's always been something that I've been rewarded by the challenges. And there's some race car drivers sitting here, Ricky, and you know how it is. It's scary in so many ways to go racing. I mean, initially, first time I stepped on the throttle in my dad's race car, I mean, I thought I was the greatest driver ever, and about a half a second later, I pulled my foot right off, and I couldn't get it to go back down. And I thought, man, this is going to be tough. And so you go from that to, working up the courage to ask people to drive a car, to being put in situations where you know if you drive well and you win, you get sponsorship and everything works. And going through that whole process and becoming a better person, a stronger person, a better competitor, a better teammate, a better friend to people, that's a big deal to me, and I feel accomplished. And I know when I sit in that race car that I am the best race car driver I can be. And so whether or not I have the championship, that I'm really satisfied with that. So that's long-winded version one. And remember, I am long-winded, you guys know that, but I'm saving you like a whole year of this stuff by doing it this way. So, second reason is that, and I'm not going to get any sympathy from anyone in the room, but this is an all-encompassing thing. You guys, we do this, and it's full time. And not just the physical time, but I wake up in the morning thinking about racing. I think about it all day. I go to bed thinking about it, and I have dreams about racing. And that's just how it is. I've been doing that for 20 years, and I need to take that time right now and devote it to people and things that are important to me, things I'm really passionate about. And the third reason is my health. I can stand here healthy, and that's a testament, after all the racing I've done and all the stupid stuff I've done in a race car, that is a true testament to NASCAR, to the tracks, to the people who've built my race cars, to my competitors, and to the drivers who've come before me who haven't been so fortunate. Having said that, though, it's a risky sport. I'm aware of the risks. I don't like how it feels to take the hits that we take, and I'm a sharp guy, and I want to be a sharp guy in 30 years. And so those risks are something that I want to minimize. Now, if I...
All right, there's Carl Edwards with his farewell press conference earlier today. The Sprint Cup driver announcing his retirement from the circuit at a pretty young age, too. And you heard him say he's never really won a championship, but he's satisfied with his career, so we wish him well. We come back, John Glennon will talk Titans and Predators with us. Stay tuned, plus your phone calls. This is SportsLine on News Channel 5+.